Hello, welcome to Zoar Outdoor. This video is designed to help you prepare for your rafting adventure. Whether you're on a float trip, beginning trip, or advanced trip, there is some basic information you need to know to maximize your enjoyment on the river and minimize the risk of injury. Assume everything you take with you will get wet. You want to remove all jewelry and lock your personal belongings out of sight in your car. We will be passing your car on our walk to the rafts or buses. At the raft barn, we will collect your car keys and hold them for you while you're on the river. Here, you'll be given a PFD, a helmet, and a paddle. Our barn is a walk-through barn, so please prevent bottlenecks by grabbing your PFD, helmet, and paddle and walking outside where there's more room to adjust your equipment. Most PFDs have 4 buckles. You want to make sure all 4 buckles are clipped and the neck pillow is on the outside of the PFD. PFDs need to be fairly snug because loose PFDs will float up over your face when you're in the water. There are a couple of different styles of helmets. Your guide will show you how to properly tighten the style you take. Regardless of style, all the chin straps work the same and should be tight enough where they don't slide over your chin, but not so tight that they choke you when you talk. You are required to wear your PFD and helmet at all times while on or near the river. Your guide will help you find the proper sitting position. In general, though, you want to sit on the outside tube and tuck your feet under the thwart in front of you or in the track between the outside tube and inflated floor. Your paddle might be your most important piece of equipment. Control your paddle by paddling properly and keeping your hand on top of the T-grip at all times. If your guide asks you to hold on, there are ropes running down the center of the boat. Hold the rope with your T-grip at the same time, or hold the rope and put your paddle high up in the air. What we don't want to see is a paddle or T-grip flailing around in the raft. That's how you lose friends or teeth. If you find yourself out of the boat, the most important thing to remember is to not stand up in the river. You want to float on your back with your feet downstream. This is to avoid a foot entrapment. A foot entrapment is when your foot or feet get caught in the riverbed. The water piles up on your back and pushes you face first under the water, and the current holds you there. This is probably one of the most tragic things that can happen to you on the river, but one of the easiest things to avoid. If you're out of the boat today at any point on the river, lay on your back, feet downstream, and do not stand up. We can be most successful on the river if we all keep an eye out for each other and pull swimmers back into the raft as quickly as possible. The best way to pull a swimmer into the boat is by the shoulders of the PFD. Ideally, you want to look the person in the eye when you pull them in. People bend better at the waist facing forward. They can better see you and hear you when you yell, "I'm going to save your life." Another type of boat rescue, and the only time it's okay to let go of your T-grip, is with your paddle. If the swimmer is out of arm's reach, extend your paddle T-grip first. When the swimmer grabs the T-grip, pull them to the side of the raft, grab them by the shoulders of the PFD, and pull them into the boat. A third type of rescue is with a throw rope. In some rapids, we set up rope safety. Occasionally, a swimmer may wash away from the boat and may need to be rescued by a guide throwing a throw rope. If this happens to you, the guide will make eye contact with you, yell "rope," and throw you a bag of rope. Reach up, grab the rope, not the bag. Lay on your back, feet downstream, holding the rope over your shoulder. The guide will pendulum you or pull you in from there. A final type of rescue is a self-rescue. This is useful if there are multiple swimmers at once or if your boat gets stuck on a rock and the swimmer floats away. Roll over on your chest, keeping your feet off the bottom, and swim aggressively to shore or to another raft. If you get to shore, stay put. We will pick you up. A word of caution about swimming to shore. Shores covered with downed trees or debris are an entrapment danger and should be avoided. Swim away from them, or if you are already a safe distance away, remain in a feet-up defensive position until you see a clean shore you can swim toward. Guides will go over all of their paddling commands in the boat. One command that all guides share is the high side command. If your boat hits a rock and begins to pin, your guide may yell, "High side." No matter where you are sitting, you want to move to the high side of the raft. The quicker this is done, the less likely it is for the boat to pin or flip over. There are multiple places on the river to enjoy a fun swim. Your guide will point out these spots. The river bottom isn't uniform and is constantly changing, even in the swim spots. We keep our feet off the bottom of the river and enter the water butt first. Please, no jumping or diving. There are several places on the river where we can play splash games as well. It's your choice to participate. If your boat finds more enjoyment staying dry, you would be a peace boat. Give the peace sign in the splashing zones. If you are excited to throw water on other people, you would be in a war boat. Find another war boat and test your water throwing skills. But remember, this is just a game. No hand-to-hand combat or boarding parties. And listen to your guide. They will tell you when the splash zone is coming to an end and mediate truces if the war is becoming a little too intense. On all of our trips except the float trip, your boat will have the opportunity to surf if the water level is appropriate. Surfing entails guiding the boat into a pour-over and filling the raft with water. The larger the pour-over, the more intense the surf. The more intense the surf, the higher likelihood of people washing out of the raft. Some surf spots are fairly deep, and falling into that surf can send you deep. Your PFD will float you to the surface. If you would like to get there quicker, calmly swim toward the daylight. If you don't see daylight, that means you're under the boat. If this happens, find the bottom of the raft, choose one direction, and then walk with your hands until you find daylight. This is challenge by choice. Tell your guide if surfing is not for you. It can be as much fun watching from shore as it is in the raft. All of your guides have whistles. If you hear one, stop what you are doing and pay attention to their commands. Remember, if you find yourself in the water today, do not stand up. Lay on your back and aim your feet downstream. If you have any questions, concerns, or wish to discuss a medical condition that may impact your experience, please meet with your trip leader before heading across the street. Now, please turn your attention to today's trip leader for any final announcements or instructions they may have. And thank you for choosing Zoar Outdoor.